I want to ask you a quick question. Tell me if this sounds familiar. Put together a resume. Make sure that that resume is one page. Go and apply to hundreds of jobs. Go and tell your friends and family that you're back on the job market. Go and reach out to every hiring manager and recruiter on LinkedIn and let them know that you just saw a job posting and let them know why you think you're such a good fit for that job posting. And then hope that they get on a call with you. How has that worked out? I'm willing to bet not well, right? If you're watching this video, you're probably either out of a job or you're in something that you hate, or you may actually be doing something you love, but you know you're meant to go and get something more, a higher title, leadership opportunities, better pay raise in an industry you want to work for a company that you admire. You want one of those things, right? And for years, we've been helping so many clients, hundreds just the last few years and thousands over the last 10 years, go and land high paying jobs at companies they love doing something they actually want to do. And the good news is there's a proven strategy that allows you to do this. And I'm speaking directly from experience because I started my career having 10 dead end jobs, not just one, 10 dead end jobs right after college. My first job was selling yellow page ads, second job doing software sales, third job I got laid off from doing recruiting. And I just kind of bounced around for 6 years. And then once I started figuring out what other people were doing, and I really started knowing that it's more of a science and there's an actual strategy, and once I figured out how that strategy worked, I went from all of these dead end jobs to becoming one of the youngest executives of a publicly traded company, making multiple six figures. So over 300,000 in base, and then seven figures in total comp if you factored in like stocks and bonus and everything like that. And what I'm more proud of to say is that these strategies are exactly what have helped our clients also land high paying jobs at companies they want to work for, doing something they actually want to do, right? Thus, they've been able to build a meaningful career. And what's so cool about these strategies is that it doesn't just help you land this next great job, it helps you set you up for future success. Because once you're in a position that you love and you're playing to your strengths and you're happy and you're making really good money, you don't worry about anything else. You're just focused on doing the work that you're meant to do. And thus you produce great results and you get more and more opportunities, and then you continue to keep growing by taking advantage of these opportunities. And there's only one actual strategy that has five components to it. And once you realize this strategy, what it does is it avoids all the confusion you've probably ever felt in your job search, right? All the frustration that comes with applying to all these jobs and wasting all that time. Dealing with recruiters who you could tell do not care about your well-being, and they're not really working on your benefit. Or even worse, recruiters who talk to you and they act like they care and then you completely get ghosted. Or going to interviews, and when you finally land an interview, you're so excited that you finally got it that you get so nervous, you get so tense, you say all the wrong things and you don't make it past the first round. Or you make it past the first, second, maybe even third round, and then you realize that you didn't get the job and you don't really know exactly why. And when you don't know the why, then what happens is you just repeat this process over and over and over again until you actually land a job. And because you have no other options, and because you're coming from a place of frustration, then you're starting to react, and you're in a place of scarcity, you end up accepting that job, and then the cycle repeats itself all over again. If this was live, I would say raise your hand if this is true, but just think about your own career and ask yourself, has this happened once, twice, or multiple times? That's because you haven't followed this strategy. And let me tell you a little bit about that strategy, right? First and foremost, the most important thing you need to know is that your job search does not start with your resume. The resume is literally the last thing that you even need. It starts with knowing what your end goal is and becoming very granular about that, and then reverse engineering the path to getting to that end goal. And let me give you an analogy so this makes a lot more sense, right? So imagine if somebody came to you and they said, and you lived in LA, and they came to you and they said, I want you to drive from LA to New York, and that you can't use any map, and you just have to drive there. And you actually had to listen to them. Now, so let's say you do it and you're like, you know what, this will be relatively easy because I just know if I drive east, I will get to New York. And you're right. But will you ask yourself this? Would you be taking the fastest route to New York? Probably not, right? You'll probably take some inefficient route. You'll probably hit a lot of detours along the way. You may make some stops that you shouldn't have made. But eventually you'll get to New York. And then where in New York you end up, who knows, right? You might end up in Buffalo, you might end up at some bad parts of the city, who knows, right? But you'll get to New York. But instead, what if somebody said, that same person said, I want you to drive from LA to the M&M store in Manhattan, and you can use your phone. Well, then all you have to do is plug in M&M store in Manhattan on your phone, Google Maps, and it'll take you there in the fastest route possible, right? And what's really cool about that is you'll know exactly what turns you need to make, what route you need to go, and most importantly, you'll know what routes you need to avoid. And now think about how that relates to your career. How many detours have you taken? How many companies have you worked for, and maybe you're in one now, that you know is not really serving you? This company, you're stuck there, they're not giving you opportunities, they're not giving you pay, and you're like, I just need to get to New York. Whereas really, we just need to know what your M&M store is. And here's the strategy, right? Once you know what your M&M store is, then we know exactly what to put on your resume. And we know how to articulate your strengths, your value, and the impact that you make. Once you know that, what naturally happens and what we see day in, day out with all of our clients, and you can see that in all the testimonials below or wherever they're at in this page, you'll see that hiring managers and recruiters start actually coming to them. You're no longer sitting there applying to hundreds of jobs. And once you have your resume, this third part of that whole strategy is getting in front of the right people. These are executives, hiring managers, not even recruiters, who actually work at the companies you want to work for, and they would know how to extract value from you. They know what you're trying to do, and they can see it on your resume. And then when you have these conversations that naturally lead to interviews, you know exactly what to say in an interview. You know how to say it. Again, you're not coming from a place of scarcity. You're not nervous. You're just having a great conversation, demonstrating your value and positioning yourself as the solution to the problem your company is trying to solve by having this position open in the first place, right? And then you do enough of that, you'll actually get multiple job offers coming in, thus giving you options to choose from. And then you just have to learn how to intelligently negotiate, and then you can land a high-paying job, right? Because you'll know what to ask for, how to ask for it, more importantly, when to ask for it. You're not going to get stuck into answering how much you used to make. And that's another point, right? What you used to make, what you make now, has nothing to do with what you can go and make in the future. Has nothing to do. And I'm telling you that from a firsthand perspective. I've seen it in my own career, yellow pages to an executive. I've seen it in my clients who've actually, some of them have made way more money than I ever have in the working world. And this is what you can get. Now, the reason this works so well and the reason it's almost like a predictable system is because of this strategy. But even if you know the strategy, you need to know how to execute it. So what if you knew the strategy, you knew how to execute it, but instead, or on top of that, not instead, but on top of that, you actually had somebody and multiple people, industry experts, showing you how to execute each part of that strategy every single day, right? Every single day, you could talk to myself, my team, industry experts, other press, other professionals who are doing what you're doing, so that you're never lost, you're never confused, you're never frustrated. And in fact, with all of that support, and that's what we give to our clients, we give them tons of support on a daily basis, so they're never lost. Every single day they know what to be doing. Before they get on any conversation, they know what to say, they know how to say it. They just know all the twists and turns and curveballs that are coming their way, so they can avoid them and just get the job they want. If you had all of that support, you could never lose. And in fact, you would achieve the results you want to achieve in the fastest possible time. And that's what it's all about, right? If you're sick and tired of going through the process of finding a job, if you're sick and tired of not finding a job, if you're sick and tired of the company you're working for not getting the opportunities to move up, getting the pay raises you deserve, getting the promotions you deserve, then all I'm asking you to do is book a free strategy. There's no obligation to you. You book a strategy call, actually show up, come with an open mind, and what we'll do is we'll examine your current situation, learn a lot more about your goals, give you the strategy that you need to help you get there. And if you join one of our coaching programs, great. We'd love to have you, and our team will help you get to where you want to be. But even if you don't, at least you'll hang up that call having a strategy that you're confident about. And that's all that we want to help you to do. And we've been doing this for years, and it's something that we're really proud of. I'm really passionate about it myself because I've seen what's happened when I transformed my own career. I was a lot happier. I was saving more. I was making more. I was providing much more to my family. And the same thing happens to our students. Our clients have bought homes because of our programs. They started families because of them. They're saving way more. They're going on more vacation. They're investing and setting up themselves for financial security. And these are all things that I'm willing to bet you think are out of range for you. And I'll tell you that they're not. You're probably a lot closer than you think. You just need the right strategy. You need to know how to execute it, and you need the support. And we're here to help you to do that. And again, even if you don't work with us, at least you'll have the strategy. So book your strategy call with